Cowboys find their Cole Beasley replacement by signing Randall Cobb to a one-year deal. Sean Wagner-McGough, CBS Sports on Monday. Longtime Packers wide receiver Randall Cobb visited the Cowboys but ultimately left without a deal. On Tuesday, though, Cobb came to terms on a one-year deal with Dallas that helps fill the hole left by Cole Beasley. He's coming off a disappointing season due in large part to injuries that limited him to 9 games, but he's been a consistent performer over the course of his career. Since entering the league in 2011 as a second-round pick of the Packers, Cobb has averaged roughly 691 yards and 5 touchdowns per season, and along the way, he came down with a couple iconic touchdowns. His production peaked in 2014, when he posted career highs in receptions 91, receiving yards 1,287, and touchdown catches 12. The Cowboys shouldn't expect Cobb to come close to reaching those highs, but they can expect him to more than adequately replace Beasley, who averaged about 467 yards per season from 2012 to 18. In Dallas, Cobb is joining an offense that revolves around Cooper and running back Ezekiel Elliott. Cobb will be mostly fighting for targets among receivers Allen Hurns, Michael Gallup, and Tavon Austin, and tight end Jason Witten, who unretired this offseason. After Cooper joined the team midway through the season, Beasley saw his target share drop as Prescott primarily looked for Cooper downfield. Cooper should remain the focal point in the passing game even with Cobb in the mix. Cowboys in trade talks for Dolphins to Robert Quinn. Kevin Patra, NFL.com. On Monday, the Cowboys announced their signing of former Lions defensive end Kerry Hyder, providing them with alternatives should Randy Gregory not be able to go in 2019. They weren't done, apparently, as Dolphins defensive end Robert Quinn visited Dallas on Tuesday to explore a trade. Coming off a 6.5 sack season in Miami, Quinn might not be the 19th sack player he was earlier in his career, but he can still disrupt quarterbacks for bursts. The former LA Rams pass rusher could take advantage of one-on-one matchups with the attention paid to franchise-tagged defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence on the opposite side. The Dolphins have been shopping Quinn in trade talks throughout the offseason, and have been reportedly open to eating some of the defensive end's $11.8 million base salary in exchange for draft capital, as they did in the Ryan Tannehill swap. Quinn is entering the final year of his contract. Details on the potential Robert Quinn trade at Fish Sports. Dolphins defensive end Robert Quinn is a former first-round pick who was once considered one of the league's top edge rushers, so there is reason to be concerned about Miami's asking price. However, it seems that Quinn can be had for a relatively cheap price. Report, Robert Quinn to visit Saints as trade talks continue. John Sigler, Saints Wire. While the news that came out throughout most of the day on Tuesday seemed to suggest the Cowboys were close to getting a deal done for Robert Quinn, reports surfaced later that Quinn left Dallas and was meeting with another potential trade partner. The New Orleans Saints will host Miami Dolphins pass rusher Robert Quinn on a visit, per Clarence Hill of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. And previously met with the other team engaged in trade negotiations with Miami, the Dallas Cowboys. But he left Dallas without agreeing to a deal with the Cowboys, which will be necessary to finalize a trade. The Saints now get their chance to meet with him. Miami has reportedly expressed a willingness to pay part of Quinn's 2019 salary, having already cashed out his roster bonus. That should make any trade agreements easier to stomach. Their goal here is acquiring future draft picks, even if they do so at a financial loss. Report, Eric Berry wraps up Cowboys visit, expected to take others. Josh Alper, Yahoo Sports. Robert Quinn isn't the only player who left the Cowboys without a deal on Tuesday. Former Chiefs safety Eric Berry arrived on Monday to visit with the Cowboys, his first visit since becoming a free agent. However, he left Tuesday and is expected to meet with other teams. The Cowboys were linked to Earl Thomas over the last couple of years, but reports this offseason were that they weren't going to be willing to spend what it would take to sign him. Those were proven correct when Thomas signed with the Ravens, and the Cowboys have passed on making big splashes with any free agent so far this offseason. Barry might prove to be a better fit for what they hope to spend, but it seems other teams will get a chance to make their pitches before any decisions are made. How Cowboys' pursuit of free agent safety Eric Berry differs from attempt to land Earl Thomas, John Machota, Sports Day Dallas. It all comes down to the price. They wouldn't be visiting with Eric Berry if he was about to get elite safety money. They're meeting with him in hopes of potentially getting a bargain on a short-term deal. If it works out, you potentially get a Pro Bowl caliber safety. If it doesn't, you didn't break the bank and you can move on. Even Earl Thomas said he thought he was going to get a short-term deal. And then Baltimore came in and blew all other offers out of the water. If some team is willing to do that with Barry, the Cowboys wouldn't even try to compete. 2019 free agency, DT Malik McDowell scheduled to visit Cowboys, Zeke Pereira, Cowboys Wire. The Cowboys are visiting with some high-profile names at defensive end and safety, but there's another name they are visiting with, and it's a defensive tackle who was once considered a top talent in the 2017 NFL Draft, Malik McDowell. Already set to be a busy day at the Star, free agent defensive lineman Malik McDowell will also be visiting the Dallas Cowboys later on Tuesday. McDowell was the No. 35 pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, but has yet to make his professional debut after spending 2 seasons on injured reserve for the Seattle Seahawks. Unfortunately, shortly after McDowell was drafted, he was involved in a mysterious ATV accident which has robbed him of his NFL career thus far. Dallas had shown interest in McDowell during the 2017 draft process. Malik McDowell's health a major part of Cowboys' interest at Calvin Watkins. Malik McDowell was once a highly sought-after prospect, but a tragic ATV accident has kept him from playing a single snap in the NFL. Now that he's potentially returning to football in Dallas, McDowell's health is the biggest question mark. Cowboys had a good visit with Malik McDowell, a source tells at The Athletic DFW, but the organization is looking at his medical information. McDowell suffered severe injuries in an ATV accident after he was drafted. A lot to process. Calvin Watkins, at Calvin Watkins, March 19, 2019. Source: Cowboys re-sign long snapper LP Ladouceur to 1-year deal. Sports Day Dallas staff. While the Cowboys have had several free agents come and go in the past few days, on Tuesday they agreed to terms with one of their own. Long snapper LP Ladouceur, who has been a stalwart contributor for the Cowboys for 14 years, officially signed an extension to return in 2019. Earlier this offseason, the News' Kate Haropoulos identified Ladouceur as one of 5 Cowboys free agents likely to come back for the 2019 season. Why, and a good thing as long as Ladouceur wants to come back at the age of 38, Haropoulos said in February. Cowboys could likely work out another short-term deal. He played on a 1-year contract for the 2018 season. Ladouceur is known for his quiet consistency, but a penalty for a controversial snap infraction before a game-tying field goal attempt in October put him in the spotlight. Dallas would lose that game to Washington 20-17. Join the BTB March Madness bracket group by picking the games. Follow this link.